Ricky Gervais. Empath, Narcissist, or something else. Part 5. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. We continue with our analysis of Ricky Gervais, turning to some professional considerations as we look at the evidence to determine what he is. We're going to look, first of all, at the awards that Gervais has won. The British Academy of Film and Television Arts, BAFTA, recognises excellence in film, television and games. Ricky Gervais has won 7 BAFTAs, primarily for his work on The Office and Extras. In 2002, he won Best Comedy Actor in The Office, recognised for his portrayal of David Brent. In 2003, he won Best Situation Comedy for The Office. In 2003, he won Best Comedy Performance, again for his role as David Brent. In 2004, he won Best Comedy Performance again in relation to The Office. In 2006, he won Best Situation Comedy for Extras, which he co-created with Stephen Merchant. 2006, he received the award for Best Comedy Performance for his role as Andy Millman in Extras, and in 2007, he won the award for Best Actor in a Motion Picture Comedy, Ghost Town, for his role in the film. It demonstrates a dominance on the part of Gervais in the early 2000s. He has also won 5 British Comedy Awards. 2002, the Writers' Award for The Office. 2003, the Writers' Award for The Office. 2004, an Individual Achievement in Comedy for The Office. 2008, Best TV Comedy Actor for Extras. 2016, Charlie Chaplin Award for Excellence in Comedy, which is a Lifetime Achievement Award, acknowledging his long-term impact on comedy. This category highlights his versatility as both a performer and a writer. He has won 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, 2006 for The Office as Outstanding Comedy Series, and 2007 Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series in Extras for his portrayal of Andy Millman. This demonstrates influence beyond the United Kingdom in the American television market. He has won twice with Golden Globes, which are awarded by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. 2004, Best Performance by an Actor in a Television Series for The Office, and 2024, Best Performance in Stand-Up Comedy on Television, Ricky Gervais Armageddon. He's won the Rose d'Or twice, 2006 for his work relating primarily to Extras and The Office, and in 2019 for his contributions likely to be related to Afterlife. He's also won awards for Best New Sitcom, Best Returning TV Comedy, Comedy of the Year, which was Afterlife, 2021 Best Sitcom, which was Afterlife. These awards have been won over a near 20-year period, which demonstrate on the part of Gervais not only excellence in his field, but repeated wins in differing categories from different awards, different awarding bodies. What this demonstrates is that there is substance to his work, i.e., there is actual talent that's there. Naturally, there'll be some people that really enjoy his work. Others aren't particularly interested, and others just think, no, I don't like it. But ultimately, he is a popular performer and has been awarded as such. The existence of substance is an interesting factor when it comes to the determination of what a person might be. What it does tend to do is generally suggest that the individual either isn't a narcissist because what they're contributing is genuine, as opposed to something that has been fabricated. And I don't mean professionally fabricated, but fabricated in terms of an image that is generated through character trait acquisition, or you're dealing with a particularly evolved narcissist. Less evolved narcissists might win an award here or there, but wouldn't ordinarily have a career that would span many, many years, in some instances decades, because of the absence of actual ability, substance, genuine talent. It's also the case that with relation to these awards, we don't see that Gervais is boasting about them on a regular basis, which tends to suggest that there is an absence of grandiosity on his part. On the 31st of May in 2025, Gervais received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, an honour recognising his contributions to entertainment. Gervais described it as humbling and attributing his success to luck, persistence, and a little bit of pushing against the tide. He evidences humility, which again is not a narcissistic trait unless, of course, it is false humility. The fact that he is not someone that regularly boasts in relation to his awards, of which he has won many, 7 BAFTA Awards, 5 British Comedy Awards, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, 2 Golden Globe Awards, 2 Rose d'Or, and 4 British Comedy Guide Awards, tends to suggest that either this humility is genuine and leads towards him being less likely to be a narcissist, or you're dealing with one that has a particularly good facade, who is able to assert control in a particularly effective manner. There's another aspect of Gervais' professional career that is worth examining, and that relates to allegations of plagiarism. In 2000, a gentleman called John Savage, who is a marine biologist and illustrator from Norwich, published Captain Potty's Wildlife Encyclopedia. This is a children's book featuring cartoon illustrations of fictional characters and creatures inspired by Victorian-era biological inaccuracies. 4 years later, in 2004, Ricky Gervais published Flanimals, which also catalogued bizarre fictional characters, such as the Splunge and Print. It became a bestseller, with sequels and a planned Hollywood adaptation. Savage claimed that Flanimals was largely based on his book, alleging that Gervais had access to his work, possibly through an agency, Peters Fraser Dunlop, that managed Gervais and received Savage's manuscript in the late 1990s. Savage brought legal action, and in a 2010 High Court writ, claimed that Flanimals breached the copyright of Captain Potty's Wildlife Encyclopedia by being substantially the same in artistic and literary content, with similar character names and drawings, and sharing a common format of whimsical animal kingdom depictions. He alleged that Gervais's book took substantial images and text from his work, suggesting flagrant violation of intellectual property rights. Savage sought an unspecified sum for profits from Flanimals plus interest, and requested all copies be destroyed, citing the book's commercial success, including film rights that were sold for £51 million. Now, allegations of plagiarism were made. The taking of somebody else's work without permission, passing it off as one's own, is a narcissistic indicator. First of all, it can be representative of character trait acquisition, which, as you know, is a common act on the part of the narcissist, whereby the narcissist takes fragments, shards, aspects, characteristics from other people and passes them off as their own, which includes stealing other people's work. It demonstrates a lack of accountability, a sense of entitlement to behave in this way, a belief that the narcissist is special because they're allowed to take this work and do with it what they will. It embodies an absence of emotional empathy, because the narcissist in taking this work has no concern for those impacted by this activity. Thus, the allegation that Gervais took this work, and did so, and made money from it considerably so, could point to a number of narcissistic indicators on his part. Gervais' representatives Schilling's lawyers denied the allegations. As you know, denial can be a further narcissistic indicator because it forms the first line of the twin lines of the narcissistic defence. Nevertheless, Gervais' defence was insistent that Flanimals predated Savage's work and threatened Savage with high legal costs if pursued further. Is that the narcissistic use of threat? It would appear, however, that the case was dropped. Interestingly, in August 2020, Savage attempted to relaunch his legal action, citing fear of legal costs as the reason for the withdrawal of his claim in 2010. He launched a crowdfunding campaign on crowd justice, targeting $2,000 initially, with expected costs up to £40,000. He stated, "Whatever the outcome, I consider it my responsibility now to fight all the way. This should not be allowed to happen." But there was no indication that the case ever proceeded to court. And it would be, given the lack of public disclosure about what happened, that either the case was settled privately or that the matter was dropped as a consequence of Savage having funding issues, which also tends to suggest that his claim might not have been that strong, for no lawyer would be willing to take it on a contingency fee arrangement. There haven't been any other accusations of plagiarism against Gervais. The Flanimals lawsuit is the most significant and solitary plagiarism allegation against Gervais, which had detailed legal proceedings, but looks like the initial claim was discontinued, and then, despite the threat of litigation being brought thereafter, it never manifested. Given the fact that there was no judgment, we don't have any judicial ruling determining that Gervais did engage in plagiarism. But that doesn't mean, of course, that he hadn't. It might simply be that the claimant was not in a position to pursue the claim. We take this into account, but one wouldn't lend a huge amount of weight to it, given that it's only one instance in a career that has spanned decades in relation to Gervais, and that there was no appreciable outcome. Next, we're going to look at some of the controversies that Ricky Gervais has become involved in, as, after all, he does have a rather confrontational and acerbic style, which tells us more about who he is. Join me in part 6.